Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Raven Maureen, and I know that it has been a while since I have made a video, probably even longer since you've even heard my voice or anything like that, but I'm here today to share with you everything that I made and wore on our cruise vacation. I will say that this is a cruise that my husband and I booked at the very last minute, as we are grieving the loss of our baby, and so this was something that we were able to do for ourselves, and it was definitely spur of the moment. And I basically had like a week to sew everything up, so which was honestly a good like distraction for me. I think that going on this cruise and making outfits for this cruise was like just the distraction that I needed. Anyway, I don't want to make this a dark video. I want this to be a happy video. So I'm going to jump right into all of the looks that I made and wore on the Norwegian getaway. I have my notes here as usual. So with this entire trip, I will say, like, yes, it's great that I made everything in a week, but these items were things that I have made before in the past, which made it honestly a little bit easier to get through them, or to sew them quicker, I guess you could say. So starting with McCall's 7969, this is the neon or chartreuse dress that I made. I love this dress. I feel like it came out absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. I actually wore this to the 90s party that was on deck 16, I think, at H2O or something like that. Had a great time in it. I love the sleeves. The ship was very cold. Most cruise ships are, but I felt like this one was just really cold. So the long sleeves were they worked well for me. I felt very comfortable, and I really feel like this color worked for me after like a day in the sun. I feel like if I had wore this on like the first night, it probably wouldn't have popped the way it did, but because I had a little bit of color, I feel like it worked out even better. This fabric specifically I got from Fine Fabrics a few weeks ago when we were passing through Atlanta, and Joe indulged me and we went to Fine Fabrics, and I picked out two pieces of fabric. This was one of them, and I identified very quickly what I wanted to do with it, so that was nice. But it's kind of like a woven texture. Like, it's not a quilting texture, it's not a poplin, it's just a woven. And if you've ever shopped at Fine Fabrics before, then you know that the information on some of these fabrics that you do find is really limited. So it looked like a woven, it moved like a woven, it sewed like a woven, so it's a woven. Coming up next, this was the Mabel dress by Tilly and the Buttons. I have made this dress twice, and I literally can't find the two dresses that I made a few summers ago. So either way, it's fine, it's whatever. But I decided to make this one red, and I wore this on the disembarkation day, and then we kind of spent like the morning / early afternoon in Miami and Little Havana. I felt like this was like perfect for that type of atmosphere, that type of excursion, if you will. We went and we got cafecitos, and we ate empanadas, and we had churros, and we had this sandwich that had all these crunchy fries on it and things. Forgive me for not knowing the name of it, but it was all very delicious. And it actually took us back to our honeymoon. So we actually, you know, a few years ago when we went for our honeymoon, we actually stayed at an Airbnb in Little Havana, and it was for the weekend before our cruise, and we had a fantastic time. So the fact that we were kind of able to like call back to this in a way was really special for us. And so I wore the red dress. It's kind of like a midi length. It's got a little flounce on the bottom. And then I also, because the Mabel dress has these puffy sleeves, I made them into like bias tie straps, which I've done before on a previous version of this dress. And I really love the tie straps. I feel like it just brings like a different milkmaid type feel to it. And so I feel like this came together very nicely. After we left Little Havana, we went to Mood Fabrics in Miami. I had driven past Mood Fabrics a time before when I was in Miami for another occasion, and I had always told myself I really want to go to the store. So again, Joe indulged me, and we went to Mood Fabrics, and it's tinier, but I like it. It's not as overwhelming as the New York store. I've been to the New York store several times. This one is a lot tinier. There is an upstairs and a downstairs. It's the same system. You know, you have people there to help with cutting fabric and things like that, or grabbing bolts. I will say that this specific location has a lot of tropical fabrics, which I figured they would, just because it is Miami and you kind of want to cater to that customer, right? So there was a lot of like island and tropical themes and a lot of bright colors and a lot of pop. They did have some suiting fabrics. I did not see any sort of like outerwear or like fur or anything like that like I would normally see in the New York store. They didn't have any hides or anything like that, which again, completely understand, because who's gonna be wearing furs and hides in Miami? This is the self-drafted white dress that I made. I sheared this dress. If you've ever done shearing before, you know that this technique can go really good or really bad, and I think my sewing machine just really understood the assignment. It knew what it needed to do. It knew what I needed to have happen for this dress to come together. So I did about like 20 to 22 rows of shirring on this dress. And then I did the sleeves with like 3 or 4 rows of shirring right here on the wrist part. When it comes to shirring, like I said, it's a technique. This is not something that I love to do all the time, but like I said, my machine really understood the assignment. With this specific dress, I did get a couple of questions about like measurements and things like that. So what you do is you double the circumference of your waist, and you know, you basically just shear however many rows that you need. I did enough to cover my bust. And then you can, you know, either it's one big tube that you have. I had actually 2 pieces of fabric that I sewed down on the sides, but either way, it needs to be 2 times your circumference waist. Once you've done your rows across your bust line, or however many you choose to do, you can add sleeves, or you can add straps, or you can just leave it strapless. I added sleeves to mine, and I basically doubled my bicep circumference and pretty much measured down the length of my arm, and that was my arm sleeve. And then I added the 3 to 4 rows of shirring right here, and then I added elastic along this line here so that it would stay on top of my shoulders. So this was like a 1/2 inch elastic piece right here. This was really pretty, really flowy. I loved how it turned out. I was really comfortable in it on the ship. Again, long sleeves, so it worked really well on the ship. I didn't feel chilly or anything like that. We did watch a show, I believe, and then we went to dinner as well in this same outfit. So again, really great outfit for a really chilly ship. Okay, so this one I did not make in the week that I was, you know, preparing for the cruise. I made this actually maybe 2 years ago. This is McCall's 8516, and there is a sew along on this channel for this caftan, but I made it and I used it as a cover up when we went to Great Stirrup Cay. It was definitely like Bohemian giving vibes type thing, and you know, it was just cool. So this was a lot of fun to wear. It didn't look like everybody else's caftan, which you know, I'm all about individuality, so there was that, but this was really fun to wear. And then I also wore it with a Coach tote that I had made sometime last spring, I believe. So this was definitely like a me made moment. The only thing I did not make on that day was my bathing suit. I actually bought a couple of bathing suits off Amazon, just because my body is still, you know, healing, and we're still changing and everything like that around here. So I did not sew up any of my bathing suits for this trip. So the next thing I made was McCall's 8069. This is a cover up that I made out of some pink leopard fabric. I actually got this pink leopard fabric from Katie Cortman, and I think she even put in her stories, because when I posted it on Instagram, she put in her stories that there's still some left. I used about 3.5 yards of this fabric to make like a cover up. So I wore this in port at Nassau, Bahamas, and I did get a lot of compliments on it. It was really bright, it was really fun, and the bathing suit I was wearing underneath was hot pink, so it just kind of all matched together really well, and we really enjoyed ourselves. And I felt like I had enough ventilation and things to not burn up in port, because it was a hot day, y'all. It was really hot. Okay, next up, this is also McCall's 8069. So the halter dress that I made, I literally just used the bodice of the pattern, and then I added tiers to it. But this one, is an actual jumpsuit, right? So I didn't hack anything with this pattern. I had some leftover baby blue linen that I had from a previous project from last year, and I really loved the idea of adding the white appliques. It just kind of gives it like a heirloom, one of a kind type look. And I wore this on the last day of the cruise. Now granted, I had my shoulders out, I had my arms out, I had my legs out, but for some reason I wasn't like freezing on the ship, and maybe that's because I was hot the entire day, right? But I enjoyed myself in this outfit. It was really cute, it was really appropriate. I think we went and saw karaoke and something else, and of course we went to dinner in this outfit. But it's a cute outfit. I enjoyed making it. It really, for some reason, it holds a special place in my heart, and I don't know if it's because it's baby blue or it just looks one of a kind, but this one just tugs at my heartstrings a little. And last but not least, this is Simplicity 9597. This is also another item that I did not make in the week leading up to the cruise. It was something that was already in my memade wardrobe, and actually this is something that I did wear on our honeymoon cruise. So I was really glad to just kind of whip it back out. I wore this on our first day on the ship. So I had this while I was standing in line, going through airport style security, and then boarding the ship, and then we had lunch and we were waiting for our rooms to be available. So this jumpsuit really carried me through the first day of the cruise, and I was really grateful for it. It was very comfortable. I did get a lot of nice looks, not judgmental looks, a lot of nice looks, and people did comment on the style. So yeah, it was really nice, you know, to hear those compliments on that outfit. It's definitely one of my favorites, and I can always tell that people don't know if it's like a dress or a jumpsuit at first, but it's totally a jumpsuit. I love the legs on it. I will say it is a little difficult to use the bathroom in this because you kind of, you know, your whole outfit is just at your ankles, and it's just you and your decisions at that point for wearing it. So yeah, you know, using the bathroom in that can be a challenge, but if you look cute, it's all worth it. All right, you guys, so that is it for my recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.